Ben, no red helicopters. Fired up. Let's go. Hurry.
Good day and welcome to NasCanucks, your NASCAR-based auto racing podcast with a Canadian spin. Presented by Viberprint. Visit viberprintonline.com for all your custom printing needs. Use coupon code Canucks and save 10% on your next order. I'm your host, Ben. Welcome, Doug. Jeez,
I had to check.
I know. After last week.
Didn't want those red helicopters that circle around and check stuff out,
Right. Which, by the way, that video is still not up because there was another flag on it that I had to take care of just earlier before we went live. So, if you missed last week's show, we're not surprised because it's blocked in 175 countries because they didn't like what we had to say. We did rebroadcast some video. Yeah, we get that. Take it out. Even though it was a reaction thing, doesn't matter, fair use, they didn't care. But more specifically, some comments I made about a certain team's part of their campus. I don't even want to go any further than that. So,
it's red helicopters may come again.
Exactly. So,
and if you know the red helicopters, you know who we're talking about.
That's right. So, we had a historic weekend at the Bristol Motor Speedway. For the first time in 51 years, NASCAR's big leagues, we'll say, has returned to dirt. Well, Cup, actually. Come to think of it, because as I was saying that, I'm like, trucks, Eldora, dumbass, right. So there we go. And but I was thinking major because ARCA running dirt, and they're owned by NASCAR now. But the Cup Series returning to dirt for the first time in 51 years. One of the more vocal veterans of the series against it was Richard Petty. For years, he said, whenever they floated the idea of dirt, he thought, dirt's not professional. We really hit the big leagues when we went strictly asphalt. But then he kind of smirked last week and he said, well, one of the reasons is I'm still in the record books as the last guy to win a dirt race. And that's going to change this weekend. So nice to see some levity on the situation. So we had two series running, or two of the NASCAR series running. There was also some support races of dirt late models and such, which was, I'm sure, cool to see. It wasn't televised. What are you going to do? So going in, it's one of the few times I recorded and watched every practice session. Whatever's broadcast, I watched because I wanted to see every minute of it.
Because it was also nice to see practice.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think Clint had one of the lines of the weekend. It wasn't until this weekend. I love you guys up here, but I'd like to be down there complaining about my car.
Well, and even Dale Jr. said that in his Ask Junior segment today. He was like, he didn't know how much he missed practice until he's seen practice.
Right. And speaking of practice, because a lot of these people have next to no dirt experience, starting with the trucks, I want to start with specifically what I saw. Was that Friday? I guess was the practice sessions.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we saw was two approaches because largely, like say the vast majority of the drivers, no dirt experience. You had a handful of guys that ran dirt early in their career and hadn't since. And then you had a handful of guys that's their hobby is dirt track racing. And you could really spot the difference because and he's going to come, guys like, was Daniel Suarez even in the truck race? Because it seems like his name was out there all weekend.
I think so. I can't. Oh. I don't have my other computer with me here, so I can't really tell.
Hey, Jeremy. Well, it's more the jurisdictions and allowing based on crowds at events and things like that. Depends on how open the state is. That's been my understanding. Unless it's a standalone event where there isn't as much infrastructure, then they'll eliminate practice.
And I think everyone knew that going on dirt they had to.
Yeah, exactly. So what we saw was two approaches. Those who had little to no experience on dirt were out there running 10, 15 lap runs. Guys were getting 30 plus laps in on a practice. Then you had your dirt specialists, your Kyle Larsons, that would go out, do 2 to 3 laps, bring it in, make an adjustment. Go out, run 2 to 3 laps, bring it in, make an adjustment. Why? Because they're hunting for exactly the setup they want. Truex, Harvick, Larson, Bubba Wallace, Chase Briscoe was another one. Yep. There were 7, I thought, in total.
Well,
you could. I think they counted Friesen doing double duty as one of the 7, maybe. But it was nice to see there was a few actual dirt hot shoes hired for this weekend. We did have, more in the trucks, longtime dirt racers, which was really cool to see. And I don't know
in the Cup Series as well too.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but one of my favorite paint schemes of the weekend was in the trucks that Brett Moffitt was running.
Okay, yep.
Okay. He was running a throwback scheme, if you will, to Barefoot Bob McCready, who's one of my favorites out of Watertown, New York. Exactly, Eddie. 250 for the Cup guys. So we saw a vast, and that carried over into the Cup practice as well. Some of the funniest lines I heard during those practice sessions was like Kevin Harvick, went out, made some laps, came in, they did an adjustment, goes back out. The crew chief's like, "How does it feel now?" He's like, "I don't know. It could be the changes. It could be the track. I'm just going to drive. And same as Martin, in both the truck and the car, he seemed to have an initial good setup, at least for him. So they're like, "What do you want to do?" He's like, "Nothing. It's fine. I'm just learning out here." And him being fine seemed to be fine for 99% of the weekend. So, yeah,
it seemed to be good. It seemed like a lot of the guys brought in the road course ringers, and then the dirt track ringers, and everyone had their favorites because the guys who have always run dirt were supposed to run dirt. Well, they had an issue.
Yes.
They were trying to run stock cars like sprint cars or dirt modifieds or
late models or something with a 4-link rear suspension.
Yeah, that didn't flow.
Actually, interesting about that, I heard some radio from Jessica Friesen, because they were playing up. Unfortunately, she didn't make the race, but you know what? She moved up in my books, Doug, when I heard some radio chatter with the crew chief, because she explained what the truck was doing. And she's like, "Is there a way?" She's like, "I don't know if you can do it," because she's not familiar with the vehicles. She's like, "Is there a way you can jack up the left front? Because that will force the right rear into the ground more." And they're like, "Yeah, we can do that." And it's like, "Okay, can you raise it 2 inches?" Because it was also to limit the travel too. She's like, just keep it up. I don't need, they're like, "Okay, we can do that." And that's what they're like, "Holy crap, we got feedback," because everyone was head scratching. Also, we should mention they didn't have live pit stops, so we didn't have the dedicated pit crews there. We had a lot of engineers and mechanics. Hey, what a concept, Doug. Somebody knows how to work on a vehicle, actually servicing the vehicle. I always wondered about that. Like the pit crews nowadays.
Some guys that weren't in shape.
Oh, no, that's true. But, you got these specialized pit crews nowadays. Do you have to, you have to have extra guys behind the wall in uniform ready to jump over if it's an accident, because the crew members can't do both. They don't know how to fix cars as well as service cars as much because it's so specialized. So, and you can tell literally, let's be honest, the vast majority of Cup teams for instance, they've got 100 employees per car, right? And you can tell these crew chiefs, when they were putting together their roster for the travel team, they went out to the shop floor and went, hey, how many of you guys are weekend racers? And, 15, 20 hands go up. All right. Keep your hand up if you run dirt on weekends. So half the hands go down, the other half. Okay, guess what, boys? Pack your bags. You're coming to the track this weekend.
And it showed, because some of the teams put out the videos where they were trying to show the guys how to use the jack properly and everything too. So
that's fine. Yeah. But also, those were the vehicles that had the setups.
Yeah.
Right? This is like, I don't care. It's like, we got 3 minutes to work on it, boys.
Yeah.
And the engine tuners were making money too, because they were detuning them quite a bit to limit wheel spin. And we also have to say, this is the first NASCAR weekend that we've had since 1989. For what reason, Doug?
I'm trying to think here.
1989 was the last time Goodyear supplied a bi-supply tire.
Okay, yes, that's right. Yeah, because Larry Mack, I thought he was gonna take that to bed. I thought old Linda was getting kicked out of bed on Sunday night there.
No kidding, eh? Yeah, so that was interesting. So, any notes from you for the practice sessions that such?
Not really. It was just nice to see them back on dirt.
Yeah. What do you think of the Dirtles? Ty Dillon didn't care for them, but
no.
You know what? You got to do something. And it wasn't like they were a complete factor. Like, yeah, a handful of guys hit them over the course of the weekend, but it wasn't like they took out half the field or anything.
Well, you could have that, or you could have the big tractor tires. Take your pick.
Right. And have you seen what they do to a car when you hit them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because let's be honest, with the weekend they had, they would have been full of water too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and a note to the track crew, amazing for track prep throughout the weekend. However, once the race started, if there's some coolant on the track, one, it's dirt, it'll absorb into the track, and two, don't lay down the kitty litter. It just causes more of a mess.
Yeah.
You don't need, you know how you get rid of, like, when there's like fuel spills, they get rid of it on a dirt track? They set it on fire, Doug.
Yeah, gone. Yeah, I've seen that. Yes.
Gone. Always a highlight of the night. But so I guess we should touch on the subject of Saturday a bit. The brief racing action we saw, the quarter lap of action.
About that.
The straightaway.
Yep.
So unfortunately, I'll do my hot take on that. What I witnessed, and this is coming from over a decade of dirt track experience, was, and I told Doug off air, that track, for the tackiness and what happened, that wasn't a fault of the vehicles being too heavy on the track, tearing it up. What it was is that track needed to be run in for about another 20 minutes. They needed about track packing it for another 20 minutes. Also, I like what they did on Monday we saw, which was throw some dirt late models out there to throw some of the initial tack off the top and, break, get a bit of moisture out. That was really cool. And ear-piercing feedback coming back through the mic. I'm not getting feedback. Are you getting feedback, Doug?
No, I'm not getting feedback.
Okay. Where was I going with that? So, yeah, the track prep. So they needed to pack the track another 20 minutes or so, maybe half an hour, and it would have been absolutely fine. Wouldn't have had the issues. Why didn't they do that, Ben? Well, you know what? If they waited and packed it another half hour, we would have been into rain anyways. So the point's mute in that respect, but that's what and I think it was, they saw the possibility of weather, because let's be honest, it rained 20 minutes later. They wouldn't have started the race if they knew rain was coming in 20 minutes.
No, not at all.
So they took a chance. They tried. Again, I could not believe actually how good the track was because that happened. Was that Saturday night? Yes. Well, Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
Right. So, and then it was washed out through the rest of Saturday through Sunday to the point where NASCAR reporter Jamie Little was doing double duty.
Well, here is a look at Stuart Friesen's truck from Saturday afternoon, the first heat. Here's a look at Stuart Friesen's truck.
Yeah, we got 3 people watching.
There's Stuart Friesen's truck.
Yeah. Not too good.
You couldn't see.
Think back to last night, the analogy. I'm forgetting. I am forgetting.
Ben can't remember back that far.
No. Yeah, and Martin did put on a clinic in the trucks. Yeah, which we'll be getting to for Monday. But I was just, for the amount of rain that happened, they were still able to save that track, for lack of a better term. Over the course of the weekend, they showed several times a breakdown of how they did it, which was they got the original dirt from the World of Outlaw races there in the early 2000s, a few inches of sawdust.
Limestone, yeah.
And then you had...
Didn't they say there was some limestone down as well, too?
No, lime infused into dirt with lime over the sawdust, which was regular dirt, we'll call it, for black pepper, and then actual red clay on top of that. Yeah, 4 layers, which makes sense because you got to do that. The sawdust. Some tracks will use hay. I don't like the hay. The hay is a hassle. Sawdust is better. So yeah, had that. So then we go in. We had double duty, which I was like, this really put the track workers to a test. Like, you're running 150 laps and then another 250 lapper, and the track's going to hold up. Like, we knew they were going to groom it in between, and wow, kudos, guys. Those trucks, they dropped the green yesterday and no problem. The only adjustment we saw was later during the cup race, which we can get into during stage 2, I believe it happened. As another result of the track changes. But for that truck race, that track, there was a hole coming out of turn 4. We didn't see it tearing up in 1 and 2 as much as it was on Friday. No real hole, like the one little ridge in the corner, was getting a little iffy, but they kept up on it. So that let the drivers drive. And, we had the Bristol of old in many ways. People were hugging the bottom the majority of the race.
And to go with what Jeremy Smith said, we had talked about it as well too, is that everyone kept saying, "Oh, look, they're getting down to the black asphalt."
Yeah, on a concrete track.
Yeah, it's concrete. It's not black.
Yeah,
but
yeah. And if you want to know how easy it is to lay it down, just watch when Martin did a boneheaded move, and I think they screamed at him when he did donuts after his win, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But you could just see it was like black as night, right where that, which thankfully, because you know what, Doug? Rule number 1, especially if you're in a support race, no donuts. You're tearing up the track. It's not asphalt where you're laying down grip. You're making ruts. You're digging ditches. You don't do that.
Yeah.
But so early in the race, it was the Martin Truex, John Hunter Nemechek was running up there. Larson shot up through the field initially and then kind of stalled out mid-pack. I'm trying to think. Lassard, whole weekend, was doing quite well, and they were talking to him. They're like, well, you're Canadian, because they just, we're all the same. Well, Stuart Friesen, he's dirt track. You're a dirt tracker, right? He's like, no. He comes from the other side, the go-kart road racing background.
Yeah.
It's like, we do 2 very extremes in this country. It's either like dirt track, short track, or road course, go-karts, Formula 1 type thing. But as he said, driven in the snow a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. Like, especially
yeah.
that hard packed snow surface, especially the back roads, where it is just a layer of sand over snow and ice.
Mm-hmm.
The traction level ain't a whole lot different, Doug.
No. But no, it was good to see. It was Martin kind of, to quote our good buddy Grant, he stunk up the show.
Yeah, he did.
It was, and Larson, you had those couple guys, like there was supposed to be one cup guy was supposed to stink up the show, and that was supposed to be Larson.
Right.
Unfortunately, he went to make
poor
the
guy.
big move on the outside.
I'll pass him on the outside, and as soon as boom, there's a stop truck.
Yeah.
Well, basically stopped.
Yeah.
And you know what? His weekend didn't get any better from there.
Not at all. No. So Truex did take the win, and did you know that the last time that I was off on a Monday, that it rained on the Sunday, or that they couldn't run and they had to wait for the Monday, was June 4th, 2007. Do you know what else happened that day?
Martin won.
Martin got his first Cup win.
There we go.
This week was the first time since 2007 that I was off on a Monday after being rained out on the weekend, and he got his first truck win.
There we go. I also want to point out we saw the rare occasion in Victory Lane after the truck race I had to text you about. The rare sighting of a non-crying Martin. And I would have allowed it this week because he could have had dirt in his eyes. But no, he was laughing his ass off. He's like, how did I just win this thing? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and apparently, according to Dale Jr., he was even laughing in text messages in between the race back and forth with him.
No doubt. Yeah, he's like, I don't know anything else. Congrats. Yeah, thanks, I guess. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So kudos to Martin on that, which was great. And we had the preview. The gauntlet was thrown down to the guest in the booth during the truck race. Like, go out there and win it. That last week, Ryan Blaney was in here and he did the truck race and then went and won it. So I was like, shut up. Although, have to say, Vince Welch doing the lead work on the truck race.
Yes.
That was good. Mm-hmm. To the point where I liked it. I didn't even realize Vince was calling. Like, I'm like, oh, right. Like someone that, or it was, they showed up the tweet. I think it was Allgaier tweeted in. He's like, this is great. Love Vince Welch and blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's not AA up there.
But again, all three guys don't have to be looking at the camera when they show the booth. You look like the Three Stooges.
Well, yeah, but I get it when they do that, coming back from break and they're talking to the camera. When they don't need to do it is when one guy's talking to a guy over the radio.
Yeah. Over the CB.
Yeah. Which I don't know if you noticed too, during truck practice, the Cup broadcast crew got freaked out when the truck crew showed them. And you see, nobody was social distancing. They were all. No. Jeff ran in between the plexi, made kind of a joke out of, oh, sorry. And Mike Joy, who's leaning on the plexi, talking to both of them. It was like, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? In reality, these guys are getting tested every week anyway. So.
Oh, for sure.
I would imagine, because I know in the entertainment industry, let's say on a movie set right now, all right, since a friend of mine works in special effects, he gets tested twice a week. And he's in the special effects over in a workshop twice a week. Mm-hmm. If he's got to move anything actually onto the set, you're getting tested 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine every weekend, that's like the first thing you do. It's part of going through security, bag check and COVID test. So it's fine. And what's worse that Mike Joy's going to do? Take out Jeff Gordon? Yeah. Which
be nice.
Heard a few short jokes about Jeffy Boy there this weekend.
Yep.
Like, what was it? Was it Tyler Reddick, I think, during the cup race. He's like, hey, some of the guys are able to clean their windshields from inside the vehicle. And then Tyler Sparky goes, yeah, but they don't have short arms.
Yeah.
And he goes, and then at least Tyler, he laughed. He goes, yeah, some of us short guys, we can't do that. And then Clint's like, but you couldn't clean your windshield, could you, Jeff?
Yeah.
He goes, I had to do it. It was sitting right there, a little thing in my lap.
And to Jeremy, I did watch it, but I did fast forward through that interview just because I knew what was going to be happening. Yeah, there's no love lost between Denny and Joey.
No.
At all.
Nope. That's true. There's no love lost between Joey and a lot of people.
Yeah. But, yeah.
But that's only because Joey tried to kill a family member.
Yes, just do not text and drive your F-350.
Yeah, Joey Logano. Yes. And not wearing glasses while doing it, too. And we know you need them. Mm-hmm. Which, Harvick was wearing the old spectacles now, too.
He was as well, too. And I love the cracks that Clint kept giving him about him being the neat freak and having to take like 3 showers once he I
like the fact that Harvick's embracing the full old man thing. Gets out of the truck during practice, puts on the sunglasses for the sponsorship deal. He's got the readers up on top of the hat. I'm just like, what the? Come on.
Yeah. But hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the cup race then, Martin
early on, you know what, Doug? They dropped that green early on, and I'm just like, what is this? Third verse, same as the first verse?
Oh, yeah.
You know what it was?
He had it going.
I thought for a while, I'm like, he's pulling a KB. He's going to pull a KB. He's going to get in the 51 truck, just stink up that show, and then, show up for the main event. And I thought, I'm not going to text Doug that because he would like that. And no. But,
I had to watch that later on because I had to go out, unfortunately. But
yeah,
I got to see the start.
Early on, Martin doing well. It would be the most awesome shit show ever, Jeremy. Clint and Junior are in a booth together.
Yeah. But yeah, Martin did great, and then congrats on the 10,000 laps led.
Yes, 10,000 laps led, and as Mike Joy said after stage 1, and the first stage 1 of the win of the year for Martin Truex, who would have guessed it would have happened on a dirt track?
Well, he had won the first, you can call them the first 3 stages of the day.
Yeah. What's up with that? We're going to have 2 stages. Usually you have 2 short stages and then the main feature, which is long. Instead, the stages are twice as long as the feature, but the stages are going to have a competition caution, not a break, a competition caution that's eerily the exact same as a stage break.
Mm-hmm.
That felt very amateur hour. It reminded me of the Brickyard 400 when they could only run 10 laps without cording the tires. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. But again, that's not Goodyear's fault.
No, not at all.
Because we saw, excessive tire wear of the right rear. Yeah, but we saw when the track got a little tackier what happened. We saw blistering at the first of the race.
Mm-hmm.
But blistering amongst the dirt pros. That's the ironic because they were pushing it.
And that's the thing. They were trying to drive them like actual dirt cars when they're not actual dirt cars.
Yeah, like throughout the day, the only guy with significant dirt experience that was running consistently in the top 10 was Ryan Newman.
Yeah.
And again, as I've been saying, I know I've been preaching it for about a month now. Him and Buescher were in the top 10 together pretty much the whole race.
Yes. Yep.
And Buescher, again, he was one of those guys. Dirt experience, he goes, yeah, I won an ARCA race on dirt, but I don't know what I was doing. Like that was years ago. Parker Kligerman, same deal. He'd won 2 ARCA races on dirt. But your so-called specialist, Ty Dillon, intermittently, but we know he doesn't have the best equipment. Austin Dillon was doing SFA the whole race.
Yep.
Other than avoiding getting lapped.
Who had the 2 favorite dirt guys that are that are Cup regulars take each other out.
Right? Exactly. Well, actually, no, because Larson survived to get taken out later in the race again, a couple times.
Yeah.
I personally like him getting lapped by Suarez, and Suarez clipped him and just ripped the hood off the car.
Yeah.
The leader, which before we get too far, we should mention. Yeah, early shenanigans because guys were pushing it and spinning out. Your boy had a little poop in his pants there. Yeah. On the first big wreck, because it was the big one, and they were just right in front of him, and he
was dead center. Like he almost stopped.
He was dead center, almost come to stop. He saw that opening to the right, goes there, and then a guy dive bombs across him there too. Which,
yeah,
I don't know how he still retained the lead because I think Jeff Gordon mentioned it. He was like, "Is Martin still in the lead?" I'm thinking, I don't know. Like 5 cars passed him there, so I don't know when. Because they go, well, it's when the caution comes out, freezes the field. No, it doesn't, because Martin wasn't maintaining his speed because he was stopped waiting for everyone to wreck around him before he could get out of there again. And part of that, you cannot blame these guys for running in. You can't blame the spotters because the spotters can barely see anything. A lot of these guys were cheating up their cars, basically having no brakes on the right front wheel. Why do you do that? Because you can tap your brakes. It'll set the car into the corner at an angle. Yep. Dirt track science. Trust me. So as such, you don't stop so well. And
like as you've seen, I did some some prep for the show here, coming in before the show here.
Yeah.
So I knew.
Well, the other thing I want to mention, like you had said, like 20 seconds, there when Larson got.
Yeah, with Nemechek.
Or Nemechek got smoked.
In the truck race when Crafton spun Nemechek.
Yeah. Hey, they couldn't get the vehicle stopped. Hey, they also couldn't run him at full throttle. So you sure as hell ain't going to jam on the brakes. Same mentality. These guys were only running half throttle in these vehicles. They don't stop that well. It's like, what happens when you jam on the brakes on a gravel road, Doug? They just lock up the wheels and you don't slow down.
No. Well, and that's to get back to the Cup race again. That's what Larry Mack was talking about with Suarez's car. That he was only going half throttle, and nobody's that good to be hitting that half throttle this exact same way every time.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of which, again, Daniel Suarez, new team. Honestly, going into this season, I largely have written that guy off. I saw it as you bring in Daniel Suarez to your team because you can bring in the drive for diversity money to help fund your team, which is fine, and it gives him a ride. I don't have a problem with that, but that's what I saw it as. Like he's bringing money in as much as anything else. But hot damn, not just this weekend, but he's been, last week at Atlanta, he was running well. And I thought he was going to get taken out when he took out Larson partially, not, as the leader, he goes through and I thought he was going to get clipped and into the outside wall, but he didn't. And he just drove, he didn't drive the wheels off. That's what he was just like. You could tell he was just white knuckle. He was like us driving in a blizzard. I'm just going to drive around the bottom of the track, hold my line. If you want to pass me, you got to go around the outside. And it largely worked for him the majority of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I was going to talk about something. Oh, and so then late in the race, or was it about halfway through, NASCAR changed their mind.
Well, this is what I was going to mention. During stage 2, the track started drying and dusting. We're getting that dust kick up. And starting the cars too wide was just kicking up such a dust storm that you just couldn't see. So at some point, NASCAR made the decision after the second spin of Briscoe. So screw it. We're doing single file restarts, which kind of sucked for the ending of the race being like a green-white checker, because you do have a clear advantage. Because honestly, up until the last restart, who fucking cares?
Yeah,
you're all everywhere after a lap anyways.
And the take that Dale Jr. had on, and we're talking nice about him this week, so we're not going to get taken out.
That's right.
his take on it was that because iRacing is now doing the Chicago street course in preparation, because it seems like NASCAR is doing all their prep on iRacing now. Right. And he thought it was cool that iRacing has that much effect on NASCAR, that NASCAR then became like one of the iRacing and mids. It was like, damn it, you guys aren't doing what I want you to do, so I'm going to change the rules mid-race. He's like, NASCAR was just a big iRacing admin because you have all these different admins that want to do their own thing.
Right.
And that's what NASCAR became. And they could have changed it back at the end, but then it would just be looking like you're kind of just.
It would have been a shit show. Like, let's be honest, green white checkers too wide. It would have just been a dust storm.
What I loved was Denny's radio. Was Chris Gabehart on the radio? I don't know if you heard that.
I don't remember. Hey Jay, good to see you.
Denny, remember, you have the most aggressive driver in front of you that would do anything to get the lead back. Remember that. Denny, remember, that guy in front of you would do anything to get the lead. He's the most aggressive guy. Right? And Boyer loved it because it's like, well, hell yeah, that's, real, race him like he races you. But Joey got
unfortunately Hamlin didn't.
No. And Truex cut the tire.
Yeah, unfortunately. He was running third or fourth on that restart.
He was running third, and unfortunately he thought he was back on the road course and went right instead of left.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I had commented if it had been another 5 laps in it, Ricky Stenhouse would have won that race because he found that place up top.
Nobody here knows. I picked Ricky Stenhouse last week to run really good and to finish good.
Yep. But this thing, he didn't do a whole lot until that point, And all of a sudden,
sat back.
Yeah, and then during that last segment, he's like, "All right, nobody's running the top. I'll run the top." And that was the other thing. All the dirt guys were running the top and dusting it off. Yeah, but there was just that handful. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough of them left. If there was still 6 or 7 guys running the top at the end, that would have been cleaned right off. And it was cool because during the breaks every 50 laps, the track crew would go out and they'd water just the top or just the bottom, and they were moving the line around to make for better racing. And let's be honest, by the end of the race, that was a full 2 widths of black all the way around the track.
Oh yeah.
You can't. The only thing that track didn't have at all was a cushion. It didn't have a true berm cushion.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which Jeff had commented at some tracks, and we've seen it. Terre Haute comes to mind, where sometimes it could be a foot high, that berm, because you hit it, it's a ramp. All of a sudden, you're done. You're not coming back.
Well, the interesting thing now to see is, and we'll be able to, I guess, watch it afterwards, but with the World of Outlaws there this weekend, to see just what kind of, if they're going to have, if the berm will be up higher than the wall when they're done.
I'm curious to see if they're going to flatten the track a little more for those guys too. 19 degrees of bank. And speaking of which, you called Stenhouse last week. I called the track.
Yeah.
Because remember, we were looking at photo, and I said, you know what? That looks between 18 and 20 degrees, I'd say. And then I saw it advertised 19 degrees. I went, well, there you go.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was definitely unfortunately, Joey Logano won. Which you were wrong last week. You had said he had already won this year because we're trying to figure out for the chase.
Yeah, I was
well,
wrong.
Apparently now we're 7 for 7.
Yeah.
Even Jeff Gordon's drinking the Kool-Aid now. He's like, I think you're going to need more than a win.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So, and it's not looking too good for old Michael McDowell at this point.
Not at all. No, because
he's like, come on. Where's the Jimmy Johnson's going to knock off 5 in a row here? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say, because we've seen now on a variety of tracks over the last month, Roush Racing is back for 2021 as far as being competitive?
I think so, yeah. You've got to say, like, Newman seems to be a man on a mission.
Well, yeah, it's almost like he's got that Tony Stewart last couple years of his career where he got hungry again at the end because time was ticking. I'd really like to see, a Larson or like let's call him an A-list driver get into one of those cars and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because like when we know it's not just the car, it's the combination of the crew and driver for feedback to get that optimum setup. But assuming the chemistry is there, like I think, like you say, like it's got to be a really good team because both drivers, it's not like just Newman or just Buescher. Both drivers week to week are there. Which is, good to see because honestly, I just thought we're looking at another Childress organization that's going to, like, Childress has bounced back from the dead multiple times over the years, but let's be honest, a few times we're like, God damn, they're just what are they doing? Why are they showing up? So yeah, it's good to see. I'm trying to think any other notes.
Only other thing is that we are going back dirt racing next year in 2022 at Bristol.
Yes, it was announced during the Cup race that we will be dirt racing the spring race again next year. We'll be on dirt. There's something NASCAR needs to take a look at. Can I recommend we move it to a night race? Because you can have dust in the air or you can have sun in their eyes. You can't have both.
Yep.
That was getting for about that 20-minute segment there.
Well,
that was ridiculous.
I think it probably would have been a night race for the Cup guys at least if March Madness wasn't on. They were up against March Madness yesterday.
Yeah. March Madness hasn't been a thing for 20 years since they allowed the one and done rule.
Yeah.
And that ruined NCAA basketball for me, because there was no more of that 4-year student that kick tail, whatever.
Didn't ruin it for me.
You didn't care in the first.
I would have to start watching it for it to ruin it for me.
I gotta start caring in order to stop. Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know if there was any other teams that have continued to. I get, like obviously both the two new big teams being Trackhouse. It is Trackhouse, right?
Yes,
holy shit, I got it right. And the other one there, Hamlin-Jordan operation. Both of them have been pretty damn good out of the gate overall.
Yep.
And let's be honest, everyone was like, keep an eye on Bubba. Keep an eye on Bubba. Oh, by the way, Daniel Suarez landed a ride. Keep an eye on Bubba. And it turns, let's flip the script. Keep an eye on Daniel. Hey, sis.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I like it, and I do get a kick out the kill. Now it's just the Justin Lofted Pitbull team. Pitbull. He's going to be gone in 2 years. Every time a damn celebrity gets involved, they're gone in 2 years. He's just there for the marketing, folks. Michael Jordan, I believe, will be there for a while.
Yeah, well, because he's been there for a while. Like, because he said, like, his dad, like, when he was growing up, his dad would take him to races.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So, he grew up in North Carolina, and he's got that long-time friendship with Denny Hamlin that obviously, I bet you that was a 5-year conversation that finally came to fruition.
Yeah. I think Pitbull's there for as long as Suarez is there.
Gotcha.
I think that's what that is. But yeah, so I'm seeing here some stuff I've seen just kind of break today, this afternoon, would be not good news. Would be Bernice Wood, wife of Glenn, passed away today. She was 90.
Oh, wow! Sorry to hear that.
So with the Wood,
brothers. Pitbull is a partial owner of one of the teams this year, sis. I'm trying to think any other news of note. Tide made the return in the perfect way. Eric Jones with the starched white driver suit running the dirt race. Great to see. And I've never seen so many drivers happy to be covered in dirt after a race.
Oh, I know.
It's like, who's not happy? Whoever has to clean the damn vehicles when they get back to the shop.
Oh, actually, Joe Gibbs Racing put out a video of that today. Like they were hosing down the leaf blowers, everything.
Oh yeah, I can. And they're going to be finding dirt in those damn haulers the whole rest of the season.
Well, Saturday for the trucks when they had that little half a lap heat race, Regan Smith had like a 15-pound chunk of dirt that come out of the car.
Welcome to my world, Doug. We ran street stocks for years. We were the first cars on the track every week. We always had to run the first race of the night. That's all it was. Mm-hmm. Just boom, boom, boom. Like you could see them going off like, Roman candles. Jeez. Going off like tents during a windstorm.
Oh, yes. Other news I'm seeing here, Chase Elliott will be running a throwback scheme at Darlington for the Alan Kowicki Hooters paint scheme.
Cool. So let's we're already 45 minutes in, so off week, Easter weekend coming up, off week for all three series. And then we're back at Martinsville for Xfinity and the Cup Series.
Yes.
Could be interesting. We've had some tempers flaring the last few weeks.
We had Noah, take a couple weeks off. Let's come back at Martinsville.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Martinsville. Great.
And the other thing that we didn't talk about from the truck race is that Matt Crafton now has 2 weekends, like Noah, to think about throat punching the crew chief of the 4 truck.
Yes. True. So going in, who do you like in the Xfinity race at Martinsville?
I'd have to look at a lineup.
Harrison Burton for me.
Yeah, it's
pretty much that's his hometown track.
Yeah. Well, for
assuming that he's growing up around where his dad grew up.
Yeah.
Because he could be a Mooresville, resident.
I think he could be more of a Mooresville kid, but Jeb Burton for sure.
Jeb, however, definitely a hometown track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So be curious. Yeah. I'm just curious to see the Xfinity guys back. They were you could tell they were Johnson this past weekend.
Like the amount of tweets that all guys are sent out.
Yeah.
Because he is a dirt track guy.
And he's one of the stalwarts of that series, right? He's like one of the dedicated Xfinity. He's one of your stars, NASCAR. So if he's talking, you should listen. Junior's going, no, I don't want to send a bunch of cars out to the dirt track.
He was happy.
Then again, if they run the Xfinity cars at Bristol next year, is Junior going to run one of them? Will that be his one race of the year?
I don't know, because he was talking about he wasn't real big with dirt. I know we have to watch that other small little podcast, the Dale Jr. Download, because apparently Marcus Smith was on this week and dropped a whole bunch of bombs on that show. About what's coming up with SMI tracks. So
cool. So all right, for Cup, who do you like in Cup?
I've got to take Truex at Martinsville just because he's now that much better at short track.
I think you're going to likely see a repeat of this past weekend in many ways.
Yeah, will Chase Elliott get that run back? Well,
he was kind of lost this weekend.
But
yeah, you know what? I'm going to predict another good run by Daniel Suarez.
Denny Hamlin.
Well, yeah, just for the fact that I think Suarez runs Martinsville the same way he ran Bristol. He's just going to keep it low, dive it in, hug the bottom. I think it'll carry over for him. And to that note, Stenhouse, I think he might have a good run at Martinsville.
Which Stenhouse is staying in Bristol. He's going to be running the World of Outlaws this weekend.
Nice. Yeah, he said he was going racing with his dad. I like the way he said that. I'm going sprint car racing with my dad. I like that.
Yep.
So other than that, anything else going on?
Not that I know of.
Oh, and I did notice, did you notice some of the people were doing the dirt track little mini windshields halfway down the hood?
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed one of the trucks had the one right at the front. It did nothing. It did nothing the other day.
Not at all. Not at all.
But that's because stuff was clearing it and still landing,
Yeah.
So I get it. Oh, yeah, the little conspiracy theory. It was kind of interesting during stage 1 of the race when everyone was getting clogged radiator openings except for the Hendrick cars. They look completely empty and open.
Mm-hmm.
Could they have perhaps coated it with some kind of a DuPont product?
Oh, possibility.
I'm not accusing. But that was my first thought right away, because I know for ourselves what I used to do, because that was one of my jobs, was prepping the front of the car for competition, was coming up with ways to keep mud or clay from sticking to any kind of grill opening. And what I used to use, ironically enough, was like you get those for pesticide, you'll pump them up bottles with a.
Yep.
I used one of those with baby oil. For some reason, baby oil, which is mineral oil, it will stick in. We would just use regular like window screen on the front, but that would because it would hold it, and because the squares were small enough, and lots of the mud would just fall. It would get to a certain point, just get too heavy, and if there's a caution, especially, or you hit the brakes, stuff would just fall off. Mm-hmm. Not that I witnessed, Jeff Gordon's team soaking tires in 1996, 97 at the Pepsi 400 in Michigan. Just saying. Everyone else took 4 tires. Jeffy took 2, and he had a half a lap lead on the green-white checkers. And the news that week was tire soaking. And somebody did an extra big burnout, and then it was kind of figured out that somebody was soaking their tires just enough that would only last a few laps and burn off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Ray Everingham.
Yeah.
So
and he would probably say, "Yeah, go ahead and look at me." So
yeah, exactly. He doesn't give a rat's ass now. He's hanging out with Tony Stewart building real race cars.
Yeah. Other news: F1 back this weekend.
Yes. And actually, I was asked on my Monday night show if I was going to be talking F1, so we didn't get a potential subscribers because I said probably not.
Little controversy there at the end. I don't know if you've seen that.
I heard something. I don't know what happened.
Who was it? Was it Verstappen that finished second? Illegal pass on Lewis Hamilton.
Oh,
and so he had to give the spot back to Hamilton right before the finish line.
How is there such? How do you illegally pass somebody?
He went off the track to pass him. So apparently, F1 has a double yellow line.
Yes, that's right. Yes. In fact, you can get penalized if you run wide on corners, stuff like that. You're leaving the track surface. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another reason why I don't follow that sport anymore. Speaking of which, IndyCar was doing some testing last week with the new Indy 500 package of the hybrid package, as well as testing the new push-to-pass technology. Don't know how it turned out. I just know they were testing. Trans Am Series was back this past weekend. Boris said with the checkered flag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I believe they might have been running at Sebring after American Le Mans Series. I think it's, WeatherTech Series, whatever that's called now. Mm-hmm. They were there last weekend running the 12 hours to Sebring, I think. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, I think that was.
So racing is starting up around the world. That's what we're getting to, folks. So any parting words tonight? We got 4 people tuning in at the end. They just love to see us leave, Doug. They just love to see us leave.
Well, you know what? They missed a hell of an opening.
Yes, that's right. Watch the opening, folks.
Yeah, go back and watch the opening. No, I think I'm good. Hoping to see some World of Outlaws stuff this weekend, and yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Not really too much else.
Exactly. So Same myself, we got an off weekend. We will be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. with an off week show. It'll just be more of this. We could talk more about the results from Bristol and preview some more Martinsville. There'll be short track racing. Maybe some conspiracy theories. Maybe they're not theories.
Maybe you may not even be seeing this because the red helicopters will be back.
Right.
Who knows?
Hey Keith, good to see you, man. Yeah, you'll love it, sis. So, anywho, on behalf of Doug and myself, Ben, thanks for watching NasCanucks. Thanks everybody that tuned in. If you're watching on replay, please leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. And we'll be back next week with NasCanucks presented by Vibraprint.
See you, Marcus.